Chapter 23, Making Plans. The next time the young men were together to study English, they had much to talk about. All of them had been thinking about the trip and making plans. They had talked to their families about it and asked people who had visited England about the best time to go there. Their families were very much interested in the plans, but thought that the young men would not be able to learn to speak English well enough before they were to go. Alan told the others that his brother smiled when he spoke about the trip, as if he thought that they would not be able to make it. "Well, wait and see, I tell him," Alan said, smiling. "When we start on our trip, and you must stay at home because you don't speak English, I shall be the one to smile. And I think that when he sees us start on our trip next summer, you will have him as a pupil in the autumn, Mr. Miller." Mr. Miller was very glad to hear that his 3 pupils felt that they would be able to learn enough. "I hope you know that you must do much work before the summer holidays. When we make our plans and talk about all the things that we are going to do, you will learn many words that you are going to use on the trip. So the more we talk about it, the better you will be able to make yourselves understood on the trip itself," said Mr. Miller. "First we must decide when we want to go, and you 3 will have to decide how long we are going to stay in England. My holidays are 2 months, and I can stay there the whole summer, if I want to, so you must decide that part of it yourselves." "That depends upon how long our holidays are," said Alan. "I have 2 weeks, how much do you have?" he asked the others. Brown also had 2 weeks, but Wood said, "I don't know whether I shall have 2 weeks or not, for I have not worked a whole year for my new firm, you know." "It all depends upon the manager of the firm. I will ask him whether I can have 2 weeks, which I think he will give me when he hears that we are planning to go to England. I will ask the manager tomorrow whether I can have that or not." "Good," said Mr. Miller, "we know that we shall have at least 12 days for the trip, and perhaps 2 weeks. Now we must decide on the time for the trip. As you know, I have been to England at different times of the year, so it is not difficult for me to tell you which of the different holiday months will be best. June is often a lovely month in England, a very beautiful month, but you can never be sure that the weather will be good. July is often a very dry month, it is the month that has the least rain. I was there for 4 weeks in July once and had only half an hour's rain, but then that was less rain than they had had for years in that month. I am sure that July would be the best month. In August it is too hot to be in London. The school holidays are in August, and everyone who is able to leave London in August goes away. Many of my friends that I would like to see again will have left London if we go there in that month. Brown, I would like to see some English football. Do you think there will be any football in July? No, you will not see any football if we go in July. The football season does not begin until September. Perhaps you think it would be better to go in September, then? What is the weather like in September? Oh, sometimes it is very good, but you can't be sure. There is often very much rain in September, and the evenings are so short. Well, then I think that July will be the best month." "I don't want to go in September," Brown said with a smile, "just to see football. I can see English football when the English football players come to our country to play." "Well, have we decided to go in July then?" asked Mr. Miller. "Yes," Wood answered, "we can at least decide upon July as the best month to go in, then it depends upon whether we can all get our holidays in July. But let us leave that question now. We can talk about that later. It is difficult for our managers to decide now when we are to have our holidays this year." "Well, boys," said Mr. Miller, "before we leave, you have got at least 6 months in which to learn the different words that you will need on the trip. Tonight I will talk to you about what to say when you go into a shop to buy something that you need. What do you say when you want to buy a book, Wood?" "Wood, I think I should say, I want to buy a book, let me look at some. Mr. Miller, yes, you could say that. But you could have put in a word which the English use very much, that is, please. Very often, you need only to give the name of the thing you want and put the word please after it. That is enough. But don't forget the word please when you want to ask for something. Now let me hear you buy cinema tickets for us. Brown. Brown, 4 tickets for 8 o'clock, please. Right. And will you call the waiter and order our dinner, Alan? Alan, waiter, for vegetable soups, please. Yes, that is right. I think you can do that now, it is not very difficult. We will also talk about how to go to London. Part of the trip we shall go by water, and part of the trip we shall go by land. When we travel by land, we shall go in a train, and on the part of our trip when we travel by water, we shall go in a steamer. Did any of you ever travel by train? Oh yes, we have all done that, they answered. But I never traveled much by steamer, one of them said. I have only made very short trips of about 20 minutes, so it will be the first time that I shall ever try a long trip by water.